video is called Shigaraki Was Right. Video by Jet the Prophet.
You people, you heroes, in order to save strangers you don't know.
Already? I'm not convinced. Let me tell you why I'm not convinced. Nana looking too fine right there, but I don't really give a damn about what Shigaraki have to say from this angle. But I'm gonna let it slide though. I'm gonna let it slide. And we're gonna keep it pushing.
Oh, you hurt those who loved you.
Oh, wasn't that his grandma? I forgot that was his grandma. Let me chill. She did kind of do him dirty. I know they made up at the end of the series. She did kind of do him dirty a little bit, but not really. It was more so his dad, if we're being honest. But, you know, it's a cascading effect, I guess. You know, God forbid a lady want to save the world and look fine and smile for people and can't be there for her. You know, I do kind of feel bad for the dad, too. So let me chill.
That's what my father said.
That shit was funny as fuck. That is how Shigaraki probably be feeling too, though.
What my father said.
That edgy ass shit.
Pointless. I have a mission. Always have. Self-described hero.
Get this lame ass nigga out of here. He might have been right about this nigga Death Arms, bro. Yeah, go ahead and take that weak ass headband off, bro. We don't want you back in the fade anyway. And didn't he try to come back once like the tide started turning? Oh no, I'm inspired to go out there and help now. Shut your big arms having ass up. I don't care if he came back. He ducked smoke when shit was like really getting real. And then came back once shit started. Once Deku went carnage mode, then he was like, oh yeah, no, I think I feel cool to hop out there now.
You pretend to embody all that's good. Your kind is always the same. Every generation. You pretend.
This was that Todoroki? No, that was Dabi.
You don't see those you can't protect. And cover up the pain you cause. Always thinking of yourselves as righteous. This world has grown so rotten it's infested with maggots. It happened little by little.
Okay, so again, and this is the big thing with Shigaraki. And I'm going to listen to the argument that bro has to say. But Shigaraki makes a lot of sense on paper, right? A lot of extreme ideals make sense on paper. Like the basis for extreme ideals are normally something you can relate to. Normally something you can be like, yeah, okay, I see what he's saying. I understand. The problem is, they said Spinner made this video. The problem is Shigaraki tries to quote unquote fix these things by doing arguably even worse, arguably even more evil. And also, to be fair, I don't even think Shigaraki is trying to fix these problems that he points out. Like, you know, I'm not even going to sit here and act like Shigaraki sees himself as a hero. He 100% in canon sees himself as a villain. I think he's just trying to destroy and like make shit better for the people around him. You know, he's kind of chosen selfishness over altruism. And that's kind of what contrasts him from Deku, which, like, to be fair, you know what I mean? You can't really blame him for taking that path. Like, if I had to choose between the world as it is, and if I'm Shigaraki and I choose between that world as it is, where I'm fucked up, or a world where everyone is fucked up but me, I could understand how you would pick the latter. But again, I think a lot of Shigaraki's argument falls apart when you look at what he does to quote unquote deal with these issues that he points out.
But your mistakes added up. The coddled trash got used to being protected.
Yeah, I forgot about this ugly ass nigga, bro. Why did they do this? This is so disgusting.
While you took advantage of these so-called victims for your own.
Okay, this is a bad image to use for taking advantage of the victims. This might be the most pure-hearted character in the whole show.
Prophet. Everything that I've ever known, everything in this world you built rejected me. But not now. I'm the one who's rejecting you. That is why I destroy. That is why I keep gaining power. Simple, isn't it? And yet, you just don't understand. The fact that you don't get it is why we have heroes and villains.
This nigga got right to burning. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That shit was so funny in that context, bro. And Jeffrey said, "Shut the fuck up," and lit torched this nigga immediately.
We have heroes and villains.
Endeavor was not trying to hear that shit, boy. All right, let's see the arguments that the vid
Tomura Shigaraki, the symbol of fear and the dark mirror to Izuku Midoriya. And for most of My Hero Academia, he's painted as the ultimate antagonist, driven by rage, chaos, and destruction. But what if I told you that there's more to him than just villainy?
I mean, yeah, by the end, he was viewed as what? The ultimate victim, kinda. Like, yeah, he was the end game villain, or All For One was. He was the pre-end game villain. But I did like how the series simultaneously made him like the villain that had to be beat and the victim that had to be saved. And you couldn't do one without doing the other, you know what I mean? Or you could, but Deku chose not to do one without doing the other.
What if I told you that beneath all of that malice, there's a twisted form of heroism at play? Today, we're diving deep into Tomura Shigaraki, not as the villain we know him to be, but as a warped reflection of a hero's journey.
What the fuck was going on in the background, bro? Was that a Nomu going crazy? Damn, they was fucking Big Hero 6 up there, boy. Yeah, Baymax got his ass dropped by the
of a
Nomu,
hero's
boy.
journey. Stick around, because what you know about Shigaraki might just change forever.
All right, let's see.
In a world where 80% of the population has quirks, chaos reigns, and a profession everyone once dreamed of.
Why did he use real police footage for the chaos of the My Hero world? I think that's our world, bruh.
And a profession everyone once dreamed about entered the spotlight. Who wouldn't want to be a pro hero? You have the freedom to use your quirk whenever you want, to save civilians from danger, gain celebrity.
Oh yeah. Pleasure to make your... I'm not gonna lie, bruh. This scene right here, if you're trying to put a non-anime watcher onto My Hero, bruh, this scene right here would be like the number one filter, bro. Pleasure to make your ass acquaintance. Hey, bro, I promise you this show not like that, bruh. I promise you this show not like that. Now, to be fair, you know, this might be the thumbnail or whatever. But yeah, this scene right here, there have been many a time when trying to put someone onto this show that I was like, yo, come, I promise you it's not like this. I don't know why they did this in the beginning. Why do you remember the line? Why are you asking so many questions, bro? Let's ask that. Let's turn the questions on you. Okay? I remember the line because I remember the line. You feel? Let me chill.
Status, and you have the legal authority to brutally assault people. What young boy wouldn't dream of being a pro hero one day? Especially when you find out that your grandma was once a pro hero. Unfortunately for you,
then his dad whooped the shit out of him.
You grew up in a household with a dad who would beat you
It really does all come down to the dad, though. Like, yes, there were problems, and I do think this was written intentionally. There were a lot of problems with hero society as it was, for sure. I don't think anyone is arguing that. But I do think it does come down to, like, individuals in the way that, like, you know, individuals treated Shigaraki. I think everything could have gone exactly the same. If Pops would have been there for him, things would have turned out different. But no, Pops decided to whoop his ass and shit. And honestly, it does come down to him getting his ass whipped that one time is why I think he really started tweaking. Like, dare I say, if Pops had been there for him a bit more, All For One could have still been in the picture trying to pull the strings as that old dude he disguised himself as. And it wouldn't have made much of a difference because he would have had, like, you know, a solid upbringing to kind of lean on. But nah. So I'm always finna put it on Pops, bro. Because yes, there were issues with the society, but there's issues with any society, bro. Pops exasperated Shigaraki's development into Shigaraki like tenfold.
The word hero, and one day your quirk awakens. and it's the power to decay everything you touch. But before you even realize you're now a superhuman, you've turned your dog, your sister, and your mom to dust. And when you see your father, the source of your pain, you unleash your power in a blind rage, killing him with a smile on your face.
Yeah, that was kind of wicked, I'm not gonna lie.
Alone.
But that wasn't even his original quirk, right? He had like, wasn't he supposed to have that flying saucer shit that All For One was using? Crazy part is that would have been a great power for a hero. And it makes a lot more sense for, you know what I mean? It does seem related to Float, you know, which we know is in his gene pool. And so, yeah, that is kind of crazy, bruh. Gave him, mind you, he didn't even give him the full, because he gave him the fucked up version of Overhaul now that I'm really remembering the canon. At that point, just give me the real thing, bro. God damn.
Bloodied, scarred, you wander the streets despite a world overflowing with heroes. No one comes to save you. That's until a hand reaches out and helps you.
I'm not gonna lie, you trusting a hand with a big ass hole in the middle though? Just a question.
Tomura Shigaraki started off pretty boring, but slowly developed into one of the best villains in modern shonen, and that's not an opinion, it's simply a fact of life. And that's because
fact of life is kind of crazy, bro. Like I said, that is an immutable fact of existence.
Because over time, Shigaraki's role in the story became undeniably clear. Alongside Deku, Tomura Shigaraki on his own is a twisted version of a hero.
I don't know. I feel like Shigaraki is cool. Okay, here's my thoughts on Shigaraki all around, right? I think in the context of the narrative, he serves like his purpose really well. But I feel like he doesn't have that, like, something about him I think was not really memorable enough. You know what I mean? I think when you introduce a villain, especially a villain, when you introduce a villain, first impressions are everything. And I think because it took him a while to evolve into his final form, you know, narratively, you know, that makes sense. He's supposed to be a mirror of Deku who's also evolving into that final form. But from a way that, from, you know, just like a pure iconicism perspective, right? The idea of like thinking about a villain and then the image that pops in your head, you know what I mean? I think Shigaraki, because for the majority of the season, he was kind of that seedy, stinky dude with the long sleeves and the gray hair and all the hands on him. By the time he really grew into that like super villain role where he was in his final form that could have been iconic, like it was just too late to stick. You know what I mean? I feel like that narrative works a lot better for a hero that we're supposed to, you know, watch grow. And I understand, again, he was supposed to be a reflection of Deku. But I think just from like a pure iconicism perspective, I don't really see Shigaraki in that role of like all timeless. Not because he doesn't have the chops of, you know, to be there, but just because it took him so long to get there.
He's a hero to the villains, the real victims of this hero society. Everything he does is rooted in a deep desire to dismantle a corrupt, broken society, a hero society that turns a blind eye to those it deems unworthy. Because in a world full of heroes, somebody...
This shit right here was cold though, I won't cap. Nigga like me would have just put the middle finger down though.
Like Shigaraki should never have existed.
But then again, back then he wasn't dissolving shit as fast, bro. So Deku could have put a 100% elbow in his stomach. And that would have been it.
Begin with. And by the end of the series, even Deku agrees with Shigaraki. Shigaraki's...
That shit was kind of crazy though, I'm not gonna lie. That nigga Deku said, yeah, nah, you spitting. Still gotta kill you though, bruh. Like, you still gotta go. But you kind of spitting. I'm not even mad at what you're saying.
Closest allies in the League of Villains are living proof.
I did like that too, though. You know what I mean? It wasn't necessarily Deku being like, no, your philosophy is wrong and everything you believe is wrong. You know, on like some typical anime shit, the hero theme versus the villain theme and, you know, the clash of ideals. It was more of a like, yeah, No, this is your truth, and I can see that. But you're murdering a lot of people, so you gotta go.
Of this society's very own failures. They are casualties of a system that neglects the most vulnerable. People with problematic and dangerous quirks are just told to suppress it, to hide it, to try to fit in with everybody, instead of learning to live with their power.
I'm not gonna lie. How old was Boobiewara? How old was Twice, bro? Because it's a crazy picture when you think of the implications. Yo, Twice, what's going on?
Some people come from a background of a pro hero who abuses them, who's born with a power that no matter how hard they train, will never be able to live up to the...
Nah, I still don't really buy Dobby shit, bro. Dobby, I still think was the lamest in the whole league, besides Spinner.
Goal that they were born to surpass. Some quirks that you're born with change your appearance. They turn you into a giant lizard, and guess what? You're discriminated based on that power that you had no control of.
Nah, you discriminated because your dumb, ugly ass decided to wear 2 masks on your head, bro, thinking you stained the hero
You had
killer.
no control of. If you even look at the top...
Like, honestly, bro, and I think this is just a fumbling on the writing part, but do niggas really discriminate against heteromorphs that much? Like, that much? They let a washing machine into the top 8. A tree man into the top 7. Bunny girl, I mean, she's kind of a heteromorph. She's still humanoid. But I did feel like that heteromorph discrimination was kind of tacked on at the end. And like, don't get me wrong, I think it was a good thing to explore. It just, they said it was way more in smaller cities. That's true. But we didn't really see it until the very end. I feel like they could have expanded upon that further.
10 pro hero charts, Mirako and Hawks are the only mutant type quirk users.
No, Washman. I mean, I guess he wouldn't technically be a mutant type. I feel like there's a lot of middle ground examples. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I see how that sort of discrimination could breed that sort of extremism. I just don't know if that theme was handled the best.
And if you snip off their ears and wings, they basically look human. Shoto in 3/4 of his movies is fighting a mutant.
That's true.
Not calling him racist, but
Shui and Endeavor haven't
But I mean, yeah, we got like a dog man as a cop.
You damn mutt. Todoroki.
the pro...
Yo, was that actually what he said? Yo, let me find out. I knew I hated this nigga Todoroki for a reason, bruh. Let me find out this nigga was actually mutant phobic all along.
Hero system is not built to save lives. It's built to sustain itself. A business that thrives on the existence of villains, even among heroes themselves.
This ugly ass nigga, tight cheeks having ass boy. This was Slide and Glide, wasn't it?
There's corruption and moral compromise. Fight over...
Nigga said moral compromise to show Mineta. Fuck this nigga Mineta though. But moral compromise is crazy for the fucking joke pervert character.
Fight over glory. Neglect the very ideals they claim to uphold. These actions, they undermine their legitimacy and paint them as self-serving rather than protectors of justice.
Yo, this, I'm not gonna lie. Old boy sounds mad passionate, bro. He does kind of sound like Spinner. He sound like he about to become my hero villain.
The hero has lost all meaning in this society. The world is overrun by fakes and criminals like you who chase betting dreams.
In Tenko's conclusion, this world is rotten, and the only way to fix it is to destroy it. Shigaraki...
I didn't get the impression that Shigaraki even wanted to fix anything, though. I got the impression that he wanted to destroy shit and make shit better for him and his immediate circle. But I think one of the things that I actually liked about his villainy was that he didn't really seem to have some sort of twisted sense of justice. You know what I mean? Like, it did seem like he recognized that what he was doing was fucked up and he just didn't care. It was like selfishness, and he embraced that selfishness.
He argues that only radical change, not incremental reform, can make a difference. And honestly, who can argue with him? Shigaraki is not just lashing out for chaos. He's forcing the world to confront its flaws.
Well, no, he's attempting to kill millions.
To acknowledge who they have done wrong.
Like, it would be different if he was like specifically targeting heroes on some stain shit, bruh. This nigga was taking out everything, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Is this a Spinner video?
Because in his mind, once everything crumbles to dust, something better can arise from the ashes. But Shigaraki didn't come to this conclusion alone. He was groomed, molded by a society that abandoned him.
Yo, them hands used to be big as shit on him. Golly, that My Hero art style changed.
A society that created him as the symbol of fear. No one saved Tank.
Was he the symbol of fear? I thought he was the symbol of chaos. Am I tweaking? What was Shigaraki the symbol of? Oh no, he was a symbol of fear, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Shimura. And before you say All For One manipulated him, yes, of course. But at the same time, All For One is simply a byproduct of a world where if you follow your quirk's desires, you can live happy and freely. And Shigaraki, being a caring person, seeing the people who have followed him, he knows that All For One's way is right. The only way for his friends to be happy is to follow their quirk's desires. For Shigaraki to follow his quirk's desire to destroy. No one saved Tenko Shimura when
I kind of feel like I'm watching a manifesto, bro.
Needed it. Just like so many others, he was left.
Also, I think there's a big difference between like a toga and like a spinner, bro. Toga genuinely like kind of had, it's not even that she couldn't have had a life outside of villainy, but like, you know what I mean? She had a quirk that actively made her commit actions that were against societal norms. And, you know, by the end of the series, we start looking into solutions like quirk counseling, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. But again, that's a lot different than Spinner, who got discriminated against because he was a lizard man. In a world where, like, I just have never really felt Spinner's thing, bro. I feel like Spinner had to be uglier for me to really feel what he was saying. Because I'm sure there was some discrimination there, but we've seen plenty of instances of, maybe it's just because it's dog people, but I'm thinking of like the dog cop, the cat cop, the dog that was at UA. Like, I feel like Spinner is just like more of like an incel projecting his ideals onto, you know, like trying to say like, oh, I have it as bad as Toga. When really it's like, dog, nigga, you just need to go outside, bro. You and Shigaraki need to get off league. That's really what it is. Let's talk about it. I know some people who be on league in real life. That league be fuck. I don't know what goes on that game, but that league will really fuck your head up, bro. And so I feel like to an extent, that's kind of what it comes down to.
Left to slip through the cracks. But when Shigaraki fell through the cracks, he became a hero to save the same people who also fell through the cracks. His actions are extreme, but they're inevitable results of a society that fails the very people it's supposed to protect.
Inevitable is kind of crazy. Again, I feel like this whole thesis is ignoring the fact that no society is going to end up perfect. Like, Hero Society in this show had its very dark aspects, but so does any human institution. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, the show ended with incremental change. And so, like, even if all of Shigaraki's shit was done or was inevitable, all that really did happen was slight and incremental change. I honestly think, this is something I was thinking about before, but in societies that are so reinforced, like Hero Society, or you know what I mean? Like, I think the idea of overhauling an entire society, just because of how strong societies have become and how interconnected they've become, we're in like an unprecedented time. And this is not even just in My Hero. This is in the real world. We're like in an unprecedented time in terms of logistics, in terms of governmental power, so on and so forth. Unless you are Shigaraki, who is literally like a walking nuke, you probably don't even have the ability for a genuine, just like full upheaval revolution. Right? And so like, you know, back in the day, you could, nigga said overhaul, say that again. Okay. Back in the day, if you got enough people behind your cause, you could really change some shit, bro. Because the only difference that the government and you really had was the amount of people like working in tandem. Now I could gather 100,000 people behind my cause, bruh. What's 100,000 people finna do against that Predator drone they just sent flying over us? And so I do think a lot of like Shigaraki type ideals of just like, yo, let's just throw the whole shit out and tweak out and change it. That shit is just not going to work. And like, it just depends on the society you're in, though. I think in certain parts of the world it could work. But at least in the big US, bruh, I feel like incremental and social change is probably the way to go. Because you're not finna one-shot the government, bruh, unless you got all for one and I just didn't know.
Tenko Shimura was not born evil. He's a product of a broken system, and it begs the question, in a world of heroes, who stands up for the fallen? Who stands up to say enough is enough? Shigaraki's idea to destroy everything is very, very dramatic. But from his perspective, this world is too far gone for peaceful change. So, tear it all down. Start fresh.
Damn, my fault. That nigga cut me off. That nigga cut me off through the video.
Society will be forced to listen to the voices that they ignored.
And I do think that is what it was, bro. Like, on the sly, I think Shigaraki just wanted to be heard more than anything, bro. You know? Like, I think he was dead just crashing. You ever crash? A lot of times the crash don't even be like, when you crash on some shit, you don't even really care about the change immediately. Sometimes when you crash, you just want to be heard, bruh. Like niggas gonna hear me. You don't even really care about what comes from it, but you want to express that in a way that people can't ignore. And that's kind of how I read Shigaraki more so. I don't think Shigaraki had a genuine plan of upheaval and how to change the world. I think he was just angry and wanted to be heard. And hey, he was heard, to be fair.
Current world, people like Spinner, Shigaraki, Toga, Twice.
I think this nigga really likes Spinner, bruh. How you naming Spinner before Shigaraki?
Dabi are expected to lie down and die and roll with society and everybody else. But Shigaraki refuses. His rage and destruction have a purpose: to tear down the flawed hero society and rebuild something better from its ruins.
That's the thing, though. That nigga was not trying to rebuild something better. That's why I think this video loses it, bruh. That nigga was fine with just like being in the destruction of society and just saying like, okay, whatever happens, happens, you know? And that's where I think, like, you know what I mean? Shigaraki goes from less of a misguided hero to just kind of a crash out, you know?
Even Deku understands this. He recognizes that within Shigaraki's destructive heart lies Tenko Shimura, the boy society abandoned. And that's why Deku tries to save him. Because even in the end, even the darkest villains were once victims. And that's why Shigaraki is right.
Yo, I fuck with this video, bro. I fuck with this video because this feels like a video you could watch in the My Hero verse, bro. Like, I don't agree with all the things that this video posits, but I dead feel like this is some shit you will watch after the war, bro. So, shout out this video, man. This was cool. I enjoyed this. And I do think it did make me look at some aspects of what Shigaraki was doing slightly differently. Like the stain vids? Exactly, bro. Like the stain vids, bro. I can imagine Deku just scrolling through like YouTube and being like, yo, what the fuck? This shit has to have been made. This video is funded by the Paranormal Liberation Front. Niggas got to sponsor a dedicated post from the Paranormal Liberation Front. Oh, man. That was cool, though. That was cool.